a Hispanic family, and if I get caught slacking, dude, my life will be over.
De mi vida te saqué, yo te saqué, te di banda y te solté.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, for today's video, we're gonna be doing a story time of when I got caught skipping 12 classes. So, yeah. So if I'm looking over here, I'm getting ready because I'm going to the movies. But yeah. Okay. So basically, it was third hour, I think, and we were watching a movie. I have biology third hour, and we were watching a movie, and campus security knocks on our door. Campus security is basically like, I don't know how to explain it. Well, obviously campus security, but so basically they knock on the door, and me and my friend joke around all the time. Like when they knock on the door, it's like for me or my friends, or like, oh, it's for me, whatever. And they knock on the door, and my teacher opens it, and they hand my teacher a blue slip. So basically, what happens if you get a blue slip is you have to go to one of the deans. So it's dead quiet. We're watching the movie because I forgot. I think we finished a project or whatever. So we're watching a movie. It's dead quiet. He doesn't say anything. Usually he'll say like, oh, like blah blah blah. You know, you have a pass to leave or whatever. And he's walking, and he, of course, with my luck, he walks to my table or whatever, and he hands me the blue slip, and he goes, oh, you have a pass to go to the dean's. And I'm like, okay, well, our dean is, and that's the problem. Because if you get called onto her office, mainly it's because you're in big trouble, like really big trouble. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get my stuff, and I'm going down to the office, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm rethinking. I'm like, wait, okay, so I didn't do anything bad recently, so I'm like, I can't get in trouble. Like, what am I gonna get in trouble for?
Psych! You thought!
So that was my phone. So I go down to the office, and I'm waiting. I'm like, one of the ladies at the help desk or whatever. She was like, oh, like, what are you here for? I'm like, oh, I have a pass to see Miss Olinger or whatever. So then she's like, okay, she's wherever, or she's in her room or whatever. Let me like call her to let her know you're here. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, I don't like my hair. So she calls, and she's not answering. So she radios her, or what's it called, walkie-talkie? I don't know. She calls her, and she goes, oh, I have a student with a pass that's waiting for you or whatever. So I can hear her, and she goes, okay, I'm on my way down. So I'm like, great. So she walks her way down, and I'm not wearing my ID. And when you're not wearing your ID, you're screwed. So she goes, where's your ID? I go, oh, I don't have one, but I got like this temporary pass like a couple days ago. She goes, no, that's not good. She takes it, and she crumbles it up. I'm like, cool. Like, that was for my lunch. Like, can I at least, like, I couldn't use that to get lunch now. So she's like, do you know why you're down here? I'm like, no. Like, why would I know I'm down here? So she pulls up my record or whatever, or my school attendance, and she shows me like this like document of like a Google sheet, and it has like a bunch of orange highlighted stuff. And she goes, well, I have here that you missed 12, that you skipped 12 classes. And I'm like, like, what? Like 12? Like, I never, like, I don't skip. Like, I have. So she's like, yeah, you were skipping or whatever. And I'm like, first of all, don't assume I didn't skip. And she's like, well, I think we're gonna have to call your mom. And I'm like, my mom's sick with the flu, and she doesn't want to be like bothered right now. So I'm like, you know what, call my mom. So she calls my mom, and she's like, oh, I have your son, blah blah blah, in the office with me right now, and we're going over his like whatever, like he has not been in class for 12 times, like he has not been in classes for, or he has not been in 12 classes or whatever. She was just like, okay, like what? And then I was like, okay, she told me what days it was. So I was like, okay, I remember. So that time was when I had strep and I was in the hospital because like it got really bad, and this was like towards Halloween, and I haven't gone to school. I missed like a lot of school, so then I was like, oh, that's what I remember. Like that's why it shows that I wasn't been in class. So I'm like, oh, I know why. Can I talk to my mom? And then she's like, yeah. She put her on speaker, and I'm like, okay, mom. Well, remember when I had the like strep or whatever? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's why I was not in class. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, can I talk to the dean again? I'm like, oh, like she does not seem happy. So she goes back on the line with the dean, and she's like, I do not appreciate you assuming that my son was skipping, blah blah blah. And she was like, oh, like he was out sick because he was in the hospital because he had really bad strep. And she goes, if there's like a problem or whatever, like I can have the hospital like fax you like when he was there and whatnot. And she was like, oh, okay, that's no problem. So basically, when you skip so many times, like it'll add up to a lunch detention, and then it'll add up to a regular detention, then Saturday detentions, and then you have to serve your hours, or else you can take finals or whatever. So she's like, "Oh, that's fine. Like you can have like the hospital fax a letter, whatever, that I was there, and I'll void out all of his detention hours." So I see her clicking, and she's voiding them out. I'm like, "That's what I thought." Like she was like, she thought she was like I was in trouble, whatever. I'm like, dude, like, trust me, like, I don't skip class.
And I, oh,
Um, and then yeah, that was it. And then she was talking to me. After that, my mom ended. She was like, "Oh, like, because I was like, yeah, I'm still sick, obviously." And she was like, "Oh, well, if I get sick, I know who would come after." I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So then she dismissed me back to class. She was like, "Go get a temporary." And I had 9 entries, and basically, if you get 10, you have to get like a consequence or whatever. So I didn't go. I just went straight to class because like I was not about to like serve a detention because I didn't have my ID because that's real stupid. So I go back to class and I'm just like, yeah. And then I get home and I'm like telling my mom about it. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, you know? She's like, yeah, I know. No. That was the time that I got called down for skipping 12 classes. Um, Thanks for watching the video. Please give it a like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys want to see next time because, yeah, I am running out of ideas. So let me know.